big when you talk about these two brands in Southern and Jackson and what it means for the culture of HBCUs, but now to have them for a championship. And I'm sure you played Jackson in some championships and during your day as the ball coach. So you know what a rivalry between Southern and Jackson look like, especially when a championship is on the line.
Well, it does. I went to that very first Bayou Classic. I want to go back there.
Really?
Yeah, in 74, old Tulane Stadium. And Doug Williams was the quarterback at the time. And it was really a great sellout. It was a big thing. It was happening. It was a coming out event.
What did that look like in 74 when you really, when you look at HBCU football, a lot of people not accustomed to understanding the crowds, but in 74 to see this many people show up for that game, what did that look like then?
Well, it was always a sellout. That's all we ever knew. Remember in the 70s when I was a student, every game was a sellout. Students came to the game, people came to the game, and they had really great players. You had Doug Williams and you had Sammy White and those kind of players, and were playing at Grambling, and you had Walter Payton and Robert Brazil at Jackson State, and at Tennessee State, Joe Gilliam, Ed Too Jones. I mean, you had all of those kinds of players we looking at on a weekend basis. So it was really something really special, and I guess we didn't know how quickly this would change. Because by the time the 70s were over, a lot had changed as it relates to where the players were going. As it relates to the Jackson and Southern rivalry, the series is really big. And I did text Coach Dooley after the game and congratulate him on a job well done. No matter had they gone undefeated, they still could have only won the Western Championship. So it doesn't matter how you win it. It's to win it is the key. You
That's
got
it.
Because you got to play the West against the East. So, this is something for him to build upon. He'll gain the experience going there 2 years in a row, representing Prairie View last year, Southern this year. All of this will give me, it'll build, it's going to build something. I lost what I wanted to say, but it'll give him a chance to build a history of what you have to be able to do to be successful in championship play.
Yeah, you talk about championship play, and nobody knows that more than you winning 14 of them. To be able to lead a previous team last year at Prairie View to a championship and then come in year one and then lead another team in year one. You talk about instilling a culture and then presenting it to get the players to buy in. And you always go back, as we talked about last week, instilling that in your 1987 team, telling them when this is all said and done, your name and who you are with this team is going to be etched in history. That's creating the culture. And when you're taking the culture from one place and coming to another place, but still able to continue to have championship caliber play. And like you say, don't matter how you get there. You never know what's the road going to be less traveled sometime, right? Yeah. You never know what your blessing is going to look like and the ups and downs and the obstacles that you're going to have to go through in order to get to the promised land, as they call it. Because at the end of the day, in sports, the championship is the promised land. It's where everybody wants to go, and to get to the promised land, they always say it's going to be a few that's going to get there. But when you get there, you realize, you look back at the season of everything that you did, what you bought into, the extra times, the work, and what it took as a team to get to that point. And for Coach Dooley, I think that is a tough job to have a new staff, bringing in these players and being able to get Southern to that point. But when you look at overall, how tough is that?
Well, it's tough.
Yeah.
When you look at 12 teams started out in the SWAC, 12 teams playing for say we're going to win the championship. We're going to play for it at least. And only 2 teams get to play for it. To me, that's a really big step forward, because that means you better than 10 teams for that one particular year, because it's only year by year. Every year you got to prove yourself. But Southern is there this year, and they had some up and down. it was a trying year for Coach Dooley to try and figure out his personnel. It's all trying to figure out personnel, who you can play, who you can depend on in this kind of situation. What this does, though, is going to help him with recruiting in this New Orleans area. That big game, that win Saturday in New Orleans, is going to really help him with recruiting in New Orleans. And I know he's got two of his assistant coaches, Sean Wallace and Miller. They're from New Orleans along with him. They're going to go hard at that market to get some of those players out there.
And you talk about having a national exposure of NBC, being able to be in television homes, 1 million plus people being able to tune into the game. And I think when I went to the game, the rain, I think, kind of hurt the attendance, man. It poured down, and a lot of people don't want to deal with no rain and going to have to sit in a cold Superdome because it was cold in the Caesar Superdome this weekend. But hats off to Coach Eric Dooley and the Southern University Jaguar football team. Had some struggles, ups and downs this season, but favor worked for them, and they ended up winning the SWAC West Division. They'll be taking on Jackson State this weekend, December the 3rd, up in Jackson, Mississippi, against Coach Deion Sanders. Man, this should bring you. You thought you had some exposure for the Bayou Classic. You going against Deion Sanders in a championship atmosphere. That's even more exposure with a guy that likes to win and gonna talk noise about winning, right, Coach?
Well, that's what he does best, and you never know. I read the article. One in the players say it's hard to beat a team twice in 1 year.
Yeah.
He's correct. Now, who is the superior team? Obviously, Jackson has much more talent than Southern. We are not going to deny that, okay? But, the ball does bounce crazy ways sometimes.
It does.
Fumble here, interception there, mental mistake here, mental mistake there. Those things all plays into the equation on how the game turns out. The key is for Southern to not fear Jackson. Not fear Jackson. If you fear your opponent, then they already got a leg up on you. But you have to be able to, as coaches, teach from a position of strength and use the David and Goliath theory.
Oh.
Woo.
I like that.
You like that?
You went biblical on us.
I went biblical.
Yeah.
I did it a lot with my players.
Really?
Because, you have to make them understand some things. That there are some obstacles that they're going to face where man does have a lot of fear. And you need someone to help him overcome those factors. And that's why coaching come in. And coaching them up, making them see what they normally can't see, making them feel what is hard for them to feel. Those are the kind of things you coach into your players. It ain't about blocking and running during the course of the week. You're going to do that, but boy, you got to work from the shoulders on up because that's why the game is going to be won.
The mental side of the game.
There you go.
Yeah. Physically, you already know. We done practice all week.
Yeah.
Now the day of the game, mentally, I need you to be locked in and focused.
Well, you can't do it just the day of the game. The mental thing has to start Sunday through Friday. It's got to be there every day, you see, because it's really a process. And that was the part that I love about coaching, because talking to my kids, telling them stories, telling them things that they know about that happen. People overcoming tremendous odds and enjoying success. They need to hear about those things, and then they can see themselves in those situations. It's a beautiful thing, Perry.
And you talking about when that speech changes, does it? When you talking about when a championship is on the line. Regular games, you get your guys prepared, but that championship, there are a lot of distractions. You're reading, you're watching the news, you're hearing people talk, but then to have that magnitude of the big spotlight now on you, what's the difference when you try to get your guys ready to go ahead and seal the deal and when they bring home that championship?
Well, to bring in motivational speakers, bring in people with a great story to tell, to talk to that team. They do all that kind of stuff. Businesses does the same thing. Oh, but an athletic event is so much bigger, and it has so much more impact immediately. It's an immediate impact. Where when you do it in a business setting, you have to wait it out. You see what I'm saying? But athletics, if it's anything great man created, and football has a lot of violence that I don't like. But the X's and O's part of it and the manner approach to it is something that every coach appreciates. You know, just the violence, so a lot of people get hurt, and but it is what it is.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all the same when you talk about teaching the technique, the fundamental, and then raising young men into men to be able to be great on and off the field, because to compete for a championship means it took a team, and to get a team, that means you're learning something when you're talking about working together with somebody, and you realize it ain't about I, but it's about us, and that's ultimately becomes better people in society. And you talked about that with your 1987 team that won a SWAC championship and went on to be one of the first teams, the first HBCU to win a regional game, that you knew it wasn't easy to get there, but if I can teach these guys to work together, the sky's the limit. Anything is possible.
Well, 86, I was preparing them for the eventuality. I never knew when it was going to happen. The day I told them that, we weren't about to play anybody we were maybe weeks before we played, but it was an opportunity. The timing was right. We had a good practice, and I told them, because I knew I had a special group of kids. When history is written, you guys are going to be etched in it. You see. So it wasn't like Coach Dooley has to get his team mentally prepared to play Saturday, and Coach Sanders have to do the same thing. Or Coach Prime. I better say Coach Prime, because people recognize that name better than Coach Sanders. You got me?
I got you.
So, it's going to be an interesting sell, an interesting situation down in Jackson Memorial Stadium.
I'm going to be ready for it. That thing going to be rocking, Coach.
You go to every game, don't you?
I don't miss a game, and if I do, it's an emergency. It's huge, maybe something in the family, the birth of a child. But I tell people in the South, do not schedule me to come to no weddings, no baby showers. If you got it on a Saturday, Coach, I'm sorry, I won't be there. Like, I'm going to. It is a holy obligation to be at a tailgate and head into a football game on a Saturday for me. Okay, and I don't realize, because it seems like in the fall we just got started, and it seems like August and September, and here we are at the end of the season now. November, a lot of teams are going to be at home, but it's postseason play. If you made it past this past weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, that means you did pretty well for yourself this season, because you're playing for a championship and something more. And so for me, I enjoy that. And yeah, I'm not going to miss a game. I'm not going to miss out on a good time. And football for me is therapeutic. It's a good time. It's my favorite sport. I get absolute enjoyment in watching it, just because I'm like you. I like the schemes, the X's and O's. I like to see what kind of adjustments be made. And I just like the wow factor when you get an opportunity to see guys in that athletic ability, because you never know when it's going to happen in the game, but you can be so surprised at a guy and what he's able to do with this little bitty pig skin in his arm and the excitement of trying to get to that goal line. That does something for me.
I don't know if they still make football out of pigskin.
Well, that's just the term I'm using, the pig skin,
Cowhide.
Pig, the cow, whatever,
But, we got to watch that pigskin. Because maybe back in the old days, they used pigskin. But it ain't being used anymore.
Well, that's just that old
because
term, as they
Because
call it.
it's going to be greasy and all of that.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. We're going to sell some commercials and we come back. Coach Roger, Cador, and myself are going to continue the conversation. And before we do, y'all make sure that you hit that subscribe button right there below the video and be able to subscribe and get that notification. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Chopping It Up with Coach Cador.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted Choice of African Safe Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locks near that outfit. For all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball with almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place for that too. Countless ways to play beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
And sold some commercials, and guess what? I need you to hit that subscribe button right there underneath this video so you can be able to keep up with this show, Chopping It Up with Cador. You'll be able to get the notification every time we go live, and as well as be able to go back and catch any of the previous episodes of me, Perry White, and of course my main man Roger Cador. And Coach, as I get into you today, I always like your hat stories because you come in here with these fly hats, man. I always like your style. Talk to me about this hat today.
This is an Ecuadorian hat.
Okay.
Got it from the great country of Ecuador. And I originally didn't want to get the hat. And the lady who was selling the hat said to me, "You'll look good in this hat." And she was one of the few people who spoke English. And she said, "You ought to get it." And I got it. And a lot of people like this hat. So,
I like that hat, man.
yeah.
What do you do when you in a hat like that? What's your day kind of consist of? Because, you know, they say certain hats bring a vibe or a certain situation. What does that hat do?
Not a lot. I'm not a guy who do a whole lot. I mean, you know, I'm not a big doer. I don't do a lot, you know.
You know, sometimes you get your hat out. Some people got their fishing hat. Some people got their game hat. You know, some people, you know, that one right there, you know, you go across that brim one time like you about to step out today. Or, you know, I'm just going to be cool and just laid back today.
I'm just going to be normal.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a couple of errands to run after the show. And other than that, I go home and relax and return phone calls and emails, you know, because I've got a big event. I won't be here next week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You won't be here next week, and I'll be able to take over. It'll be Perry's house next week. It's gonna be chopping it up with Perry next week. All right.
Ain't no PJ no more.
Ain't no PJ. It's gonna be chopping it up with Perry. So I'm gonna have the house to myself, everybody. So let's see if I can behave right. All right. Coach, something I wanted to ask you, and I hate I didn't get a chance to ask the question when we had Coach Pete Richardson here. But of course, you are retired now and doing media. Did you ever think you were gonna be doing media? Right.
Right.
But when a coach has had the amount of success that you've had and you go through your career, but for every coach, no matter how great you are, you reach that point to where it's kind of that, it ain't what it used to be. How, and for you, was it noticeable to realize maybe your time is coming to where it's time to be up? Or, I've seen it even in the past when I looked at a story at Florida State with Bobby Bowden, the great Bobby Bowden, who was the head coach. He didn't want to give it up. They kind of had to force him out, but he still felt like he had more left in the tank because he had been doing it for just as many years as you, 40 plus years of dedicating his life to the game. This is who he was. This is what he did and got up, was motivated about each and every day. When you reach that point and administrators have that conversation, is it one where you kind of see it coming, or is it hard to let go, especially when you have become conducive for 30 plus years of getting up doing this?
I made up in 2013 is when I really retired. A lot of people don't know it, but that's when I retired. I had a talk with then Chancellor Jim Lorenz, Dr. Lorenz, and he and I talked, and I told him I wanted to retire, and he asked me to stay because he knew we were going to be going through this NCAA difficulties, and it's always good to have someone like me to go through it, because it ain't about winning at all costs. You got me? We knew we weren't going to win because we were going to be stripped of scholarships, et cetera, et cetera. You got me? Practice time, recruiting. So we knew that, and so I stayed. So I knew I was gone.
But when you got to that point in 2013, was that something mentally you had made up, or was that something administrators had came to you and said?
Mentally, I made it up.
Okay.
I had made it up. I had decided to do it, and because I'd been playing. If a lot of coaches don't want to retire because I don't have a lot of hobby either, but I still do a lot of stuff that keeps me busy enough. I do travel a lot. I do stuff with MLB, which keeps me busy. And I do my own, I was still doing my TV show at the time. I still did that. And now I do my podcast with you, which is a big hit.
All right.
Because of you.
I appreciate
it's
you.
It's a bigger hit. And but I've always, I've been part in the community. I've stayed pretty busy.
And I asked that because, coaches, it's just I never understood or had an opportunity to get it from the mind of a coach, because a lot of times it comes with fire, and a lot of coaches don't get an opportunity to be around that long. And that's why I compared it to Bobby Bowden, because I watched his documentary and he just was not ready to let it go. They literally had to almost like drag him out. Just
like Eddie Robinson, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a shame that it gets to that where they have to drag you. I had a wife who made me understood that athletic had limitations. She said it had limitations. And unless you really understood what she was talking about, you can get caught up in it. And it does have a lot of limitation. And so I always had one foot in, one foot out, with the eventuality that I wasn't going to be able to coach forever.
Yeah.
I knew that. And I'm going to tell you, man, when I got that last contract in 2009, I knew my days were numbered.
What about that contract in 2009?
It was going to take me to a comfortable place for retirement. It was going to take. And I had been checking with Laser. I was under the Office of Laser Retirement System. And I've been checking since I was 55 years old. Before I got to be 55.
How many more years you got to go?
Yeah, before I got to. A lot of coaches don't do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what was my best angle for retiring. And that's what you call planning. Not letting them hit you when they want to. I planned for it by going, I must have gone 30 times talking to different people at Laser about my situation. What is best? Was drop my better situation? Was retirement, not going through the drop program? How many years I could coach? How can I turn my annual leave and sick leave into time served? All of those things is what I was doing. Now tell me if that's not a person planning his retirement.
Sounds like a person planning their retirement.
That's what I was doing. And I kept saying, I'm not going to be able to do this forever. I knew all of the success I had wasn't going to mean much at the end. And when I knew the doing NCAA sanctions were coming, I knew I was dead in the water. Couldn't win.
You're right. You talk about scholarship reduction. You talk about limited practice timing. When you look at that, at what point, as over the years, did you ever lose, I won't say a love for the game, but did you start to feel the enthusiasm go down for the game?
I got tired.
Yeah.
I was
tired. That's a good word. Yeah.
I mean, I was tired. You know, I had done so much for so many years with so little alone. And I had good coaches before that I got them all into pro ball scouting. So I had good coaches. But Dane Canaveri, when I brought him on board, Dane had worked at Miami, he had worked at LSU, and he was a head coach at Southeastern. So he had a lot of experience. Plus he had gone through the sanction part at LSU. He was the one that helped took us through the sanction. He understood everything that needed to be done. And it gave me, he knew that I was tired. He took a lot of things off my shoulder. And he said, Coach, all you do is this, I'll do that. He said, because, you know, you've done everything all your life. You don't no longer have to do them. That's why you got me. So I turned a lot of things over to him. And I did limited stuff so I could make it a little longer. I mean, I was really tired, to be honest with you. I mean, and fatigue. When I retired and I went home, I slept like a baby.
Really?
I slept like a baby. You know, a lot of people, and people would ask me, do you miss coaching? I said, hell no. Did I say hell no good enough? Hell no, Lord. You know, and it's the other thing that I did, and I told when they hired Coach Jackson, I said, I won't be coming around very often because what's going to happen, Coach? Player's going to go through a slump. He's going to be running to me. I recruited him. I don't want him running to me. You all got to figure it out. You got me? And I said, a lot of coaches don't want to do that. I don't want kids running to me and questioning your coaching ability. That's what they do. That's why I limited my visibility around the players. Their parents was running to me. Say, you got a coach over here. I'm no longer the coach. So I limit my availability for them. And now I'm beginning to be a little more visible because the players are gone.
Yeah. It's a cycle didn't happen.
The cycle. Yeah. We got them out of the system. The parents can't worry me anymore.
The parents can't worry you no more.
Not about that son. About playing that son. And Chris Crenshaw, who is the coach now, he understood because I told him in his first year I wasn't coming around. Said, because you need to learn. You got me? And so Chris and I really talk a lot, and we don't talk about coaching. We talk about other things. And I love it because it's not, he knows that I'm not questioning his coaching ability. We always talk about things how you can solve problems, what to anticipate, some of those kind of things, you know.
Do you ever sit there and you're so used to motivating young people? Do you miss that part of the coaching? Not necessarily on the field, but being around young people and being a motivator as you are.
That kept me young.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the hell out of that. That's the part of that keeps you young and going, because young people have a way of keeping you young. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to think like them, be up to standing, up to par, and I miss that because it brought the best out in me. There were things that I was able to learn about myself when I'm motivating them that just didn't come out naturally. It came out when I was talking, finding a way to motivate them, which in turn motivated me.
Can I hold you to something since you missed that? When my son gets of age and his little homeboys and everybody, and we start a little league team, can I get you to be their coach? What it's gonna be like talking to these little 9, 10-year-old kids, and I'm like, this is legendary Coach Roger Cador. He's gonna be our coach. I'll be the assistant coach. Can I get you to coach the little league team?
I don't think so. I've been asked that about coaching, and my sister have asked me, and my brother, oh man, you ought to come to New Road and coach. And this is all over with, Even it's just so far over with.
I'll handle the day-to-day operations and everything. When it's game time, I want you to strike them up.
I am too demanding.
Even with the little ones.
Well, I don't know any other way.
That's right. That's right.
I'm demanding, and I don't like that. And the reason I'm demanding is that one of the stories I tell is that if you're going to be able to overcome odds, which is my book is against all odds, you're going to have to be able to have the great demands on yourself and accomplish things against great odds. And I tell a story about the Great Pyramids in Africa. To this day, man is trying to figure out how did they build that. And some people question whether or not they were built. But then how was it built if man didn't do it? They did do it. And somebody made the demand. The kings made the demand, and what happened? A lot of the people died, but they built them, didn't they?
They did.
And 15,000 miles, the Great Walls of China. The walls are there, right?
They there.
Someone built them, right?
They had to build it.
And the emperor
Aliens.
made
It's aliens that built them.
No, alien. No. The emperor made the demand, and they built them. They secluded their civilization for all those years. People didn't even know the Chinese existed because they had the Great Walls. People couldn't penetrate them. But they built the wall 15,000 miles. And then the one that I've seen is the Panamanian. The Panamanian. They built what they built in Panamania.
The canal.
The canal.
The Panama Canal.
Panama Canal.
Yeah.
That was a great treat. The French started it in 1887, and they gave up. Too difficult. But our great Teddy Roosevelt, the teddy bear, went in and said, we got to have it. We got to build this. And he went in and he said, we're gonna build it. And he did a lot of underhanded stuff, but he did it. And he said, we're going to go get the blacks from the Caribbean because they can take the yellow fever. They can survive out here. And they did, and that's how they were able to build it, because they brought the Chinese in and they couldn't do it. Couldn't deal with the yellow fever, the jungle fever they call it. But the blacks in the Caribbean, Teddy knew they could handle it because of slavery and all the other things that they had been through. So they brought them in, and that's how they built the Panama Canal.
That's against all odds.
Against all odds. Remember, the French gave up. So there are a lot of things. That's why I said that to say this. Everything I did was against all odds because of my upbringing and the lack of opportunity to gain a quality education. It wasn't because I didn't want to. The system denied me. You got me? And there was nobody there to fight for me. saying that here's a young man. He's starving. He's dying to get it. There was nobody there to do it. I had to go around the system, and the system had to work with me that was in place. Nudged me along, even though I wasn't prepared. But it nudged me. It got me to a place. You got me?
Got you to a place of good retirement. That's what it did. Now, everybody wants to sit back and ride into the sunset with retirement and make sure that you're good and that everything is set in stone and in place. And that's what you were able to do through having a successful career, being a hard worker. You set yourself up for the long haul more so than looking at the short picture. You looked at the bigger picture. And now you get to sit here on Monday morning, sitting here looking at Perry White and chopping it up with me. So I appreciate it.
And Lloyd.
That's right.
Don't forget Lloyd. Lloyd is the extraordinaire producer.
Lloyd.
Hey, I'll take my credit if you won't give it to me, Coach.
All right, all right, Lloyd. We're going to have to go get ready to take a break. This will be our final one. Then we're going to come back and get ready to try to close things out. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Chopping Up with Cador, all right?
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or your wife will ride you and you're safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of African Safe Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place for that too. Countless ways to play beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
It up with Cador. I am Perry White. He's Roger Cador. Excuse me. And if you see that little button, there's a little button right there underneath this video. It says subscribe with a little bell next to it. Just click that thing. It's free. Don't cost you nothing. Not 99 cents, not 10 cents. We don't need your social security number. I don't need your bank card information. I don't need nothing from you but your support. Click that button. You'll be able to get the notification every time we're able to go live, and as well as go back and watch any of our previous shows. We would love to have your support. Coach Roger Cador and myself, Perry White, of you guys tuning in and getting our subscribers up, and as well as getting our views up. And hey, don't hesitate to be able to share this show as well and let people know what we're doing and what we're talking about, because this is some legendary conversations that we're having when I have a guy is with a legendary background. And as we heard before the break, against all odds, Roger Cador, everybody. Let's give him a round of applause, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Coach, you know, coming out, going into the month of December, the year has gone by, and as we come into December, you and I have gotten together with this show. But what has this year been like for you so far as we get ready to put an exclamation mark on this year and going into this last month?
Well, it's been a good year. You know, obviously we came out of the pandemic in this year. I know I did because of my asthma. You know, I wasn't able to do a whole lot the 2 previous years. And it was based upon information my doctor shared with me. Said that, you know, stay inside as much as you can because this is a virus that come looking for people like you.
Against
with
all odds.
Yes, with respiratory problem. You know, so, and that gave me a chance to really lay back and think about a lot of things. I did a lot of research on different things and how I could help people, you know, reach out to many friends I hadn't reached out to in many years. So those are the things I was able to do.
So overall, a good year. Just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to make being inside as as comfortable as I could.
Yeah.
Not make it as a chore. You know, I had to find something to do that could keep my mind occupied.
Yeah, I think for the pandemic, a lot of people had to find who they are within themselves, because a lot of times we're so busy out in the world being busy. A lot of times you don't get a chance to slow down and really accept around you, or just being at home. Most people not at home all the time.
Right.
They're at work, or they're out social hour, or they're moving around doing things. And so now you're at home, you get to look around the house and be like, damn, no wonder I don't be in here, man. I ain't really got nothing for. And I had to do the same thing. I had to make home conducive for me to not look to be ready to go somewhere, to where, you know what I'm saying? To where I was okay with being at home. And because of that, I have turned into a homebody now. That's what the pandemic did to me. I used to love to be out and do, but I made home so comfortable for myself to now I'm comfortable with being at home. And beforehand, I was always looking to go and hang out and be around people. But now, you know, I had got a video game. I got an old school PlayStation 2. I started the dynasty up on NCAA football. They don't make no more. Man, I'm probably in like year 28 on that thing. That's what I did in the pandemic. You know, Madden, they made online game for Madden. Online gaming saved me through the pandemic. I ended up being ranked in like the top 1% in the whole world on Madden.
That's when everybody was playing.
Right. You know, every day I'm averaging 5 to 6 games and I'm rolling, man. I ended up being one of the top Madden players in the world. I dedicated myself to that because I was at home and it gave me something to do. And I was just happy to be able to be one of the ones to come out with good health, with life. I knew many people who did not make it out, you know, and so for us to be able to have 2022 and then get ready to put an end to it and go into 2023, you know, that was the biggest thing I think you just said, making home comfortable for you, because for a lot of people, they're not too comfortable at home and it forces them to want to go out. But it for me, it helped me find myself. I found peace within myself. I found opportunities to look at things that I needed to evaluate within myself that ultimately I felt could help my years ahead of me to be better. And I guess it did if I'm sitting here talking to Roger Cador on the show.
No, Perry, I think you have a lot of talent, you know, and I think there's a world of opportunity for you if you can stay focused and do the things you know that's going to make you better, you know. And I think and practice that at every opportunity. I know you do work with another show, and you've been doing that for a while. Just try to do the best you can. And your opportunity will come. It's going to come when you're not even thinking about it.
Let me ask you this. Because in my realm, most of the time when you talk about media and what we're doing, a lot of people have to go to school for this. They have to be taught and trained this. I didn't go to school. My major was political science. It was far from this. And you were a ball coach, which, you was practicing, but it was part of the job. But for you, did you ever have a player that didn't have probably played even just a little bit of baseball, but was an athlete that you had to coach? Did you ever get a guy like that where you had to kind of coach him into being a ball player?
Oh, I'm sure there was a lot of them. I got inner city kids from Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, Houston, and where they didn't get the kind of coaching, particularly Chicago, Detroit. Cold weather, they might play 12 games a year.
Wow.
And they didn't get the coaching, so they were talented, so I had to coach them and teach them the game, So that was a situation, I had to do that. But, I find out that people in the profession you're in, some of them never went to school to be that, but they were good. I had a young man from Chicago by the name of Lonnie Morrison. Was a really good player, and he got hurt. A pitcher, couldn't pitch. So I put him in on the PA system.
Oh, you found him something to do.
Find him something to do. He was well-spoken. And whoa, what he turned out to be. To be honest with you, if I was the athletic director at Southern, I would go find that guy and hire him. You got me?
I got you.
That's how good he was. You know what? Every team came there wanting to know who was that guy on the PA system. To me, that's telling tale right there. Everybody, no matter was it a white team or African-American university, they all wanted to know who was the guy.
Did good at what it was.
He was damn good.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Tommy Lasorda, when Al Michaels was doing that baseball in AAA in Hawaii, and Lasorda was coaching at Albuquerque, he called the Dodgers and said, there's a guy doing the broadcast for the Hawaiian, whatever they were called. Y'all need to talk to him. And the guy had to remind, say, Tommy, you forgot, we got, the guy just died, retired after 70 years.
Broadcasting?
Yeah, for the Dodgers. Oh, my goodness. Said, we got this guy. Oh, my goodness, it's killing me. Tommy said, oh, I forgot. You're right. We got the greatest guy. Vin Scully. He said, we got Vin Scully. Well, you know who the guy turned out to be? Al Michaels. So Lasorda nailed it because he had Al Michaels. And Al Michaels' first job, I think, was with Oakland, and then he went to Cincinnati, and then he moved around, and then, so, goes to show you. Started out in the minor leagues and ended up being one of the great broadcasters, along with Bob Costa. They really are good. Yeah. And Mike Tirico, they're the three best to me.
You know who I like? He's on Fox, but I like Gus Johnson. I like the excitement. You ever watched any games with Gus Johnson?
I know who Gus Johnson is.
Oh, man, when he brings that excitement to the game like no other. Not only, and then, a lot of times, a lot of people didn't like Tony Romo, but Tony Romo, I think, was good. Hey, he's going to call the play before it even comes out. He's going to try, the running back is going to hear to go do this, and what did they do on the play? He goes and does exactly that.
Romo is good.
Yeah.
He's an analyst, though. He's not, but he's damn good.
And, and you look at that, and so many people, and I guess I'm saying those names because here are people that didn't go to school for this. We didn't go try to learn this. It's just something about having a personality that can fit those types of jobs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I had an interesting thing happen to me in May of this past year at the SWAC tournament. They were looking for an analyst. And one of the officials from the SWAC said, "Coach, can you help us out?" I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Man, we need an analyst." I said, "Okay, I'll help you out." I go in. It sort of reminded me of Wally Pip when Lou Garrett. Pip came up with a headache, and they put Lou Garrett out there, and he played 2,300 some games without missing. So the rest is history. So I took over, and the calls came in. Well, not just the calls, but in social media, how you can send information in, what you call that?
What do you mean?
They start getting information on social media.
Yeah.
What you call it is.
It depends because there's a lot of words.
They wouldn't call it. They would.
You can tweet it. You can
tweet,
share it. Yeah.
Tweet.
Okay.
There you go. They would tweet. So the guy came in the booth. He said, "Man, where have you been?" I said, "What you mean where I've been?" He said, "Coach, you were in for us. We got it, man." He said, the things are blowing up. The people love the fact that you're teaching them. He said, you're teaching them the game. And that's what I was doing, teaching them the game. Because I know the game. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, in that same sense,
With
that's why
Romo.
I was asking Pete Richardson because he's now the analyst for the football, for Southern's football. To have a guy who's been in that position, who knows from the recruiting ins and outs of a program as well as the X's and O's, you can't ask for more, and especially somebody who's won championships and know what it's like to be a champion.
Well, it's not about winning championships.
Well, when you speak on opportunities for people to understand.
But you need to know this, Perry. There are some coaches who are really good that probably didn't win championships because they were coaching against people who were better than them or had better personnel. And they won. You see what I'm saying?
And I guess I'm saying because people like to hear from champions.
They love hearing
from.
It sells. It sells just like sex sells.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it in a derogatory sense, but if you got a sexy lady, she's going to be able to appeal to the looking eye.
I think you see that a lot even in sports today with women sideline reporters and more broadcasts. They realize men are watching this.
Right.
They're not trying to look at Perry White and Roger Cador.
I was about to say, I think y'all are doing the same thing.
They want to see a nice young lady come on in and give you the report,
Right. No, it sells, especially when they know what they're talking about. Hannah Storm, in my opinion, is really good, even though she's gotten up there in age, but damn it, she's good. And she's good. Linda Cohen is good. Those people are good. And the only reason, oh my goodness, the black lady does Fox, she's been there for many years.
Pam?
Pam Oliver.
Yeah.
The only reason she's there, she's good. Because they could have hired more sexually appealing women, but she's good at what she does. And that's hard to replace.
It is.
See, people, there are general managers, people, presidents, they want people who are difficult to prepare, to replace, doing the job for them. You got me? Because everything ain't about sex appeal. It's about delivering the message to the listening audience.
That's right.
Because everybody's fighting for audience.
Everybody is in this world of ever-changing evolution in technology.
Well, it's not about technology. It's about advertising dollar, big guy. If you got, the more people you got, the more you can actually advertise in dollars. That's really what it boils down to. That's why I feel very fortunate. I was able to do my TV show for 16 years. That's hard. And people could say, you had that African American HBC school. It wasn't about that. It was about my commitment I had made to the community and the things that I had done that made it easier for me to sell what we were doing.
Well, let's do this. We have reached the end of another episode of Chopping It Up with Cador, as always.
Don't let it in.
Oh, man, that's...
Lord, please, can you make it going? Stretch it for 2 more hours.
You threw salt all over Pam Oliver.
Hey. Reached the end of another episode. Coach won't be here next week, so it is going to be Chopping It Up with Perry. It's going to be Perry's house. next week. So, all right, we're going to see how this is going to go. I'm going to try to make sure I keep it very entertaining. But, Coach, you'll be back the week after. And that'll be after my birthday. I got a birthday coming up. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to December. That's why I was asking about December. December is one of my favorite months. You know, I got birthday and I got Christmas. So, you know.
Gifts on gifts.
Yeah, hey, that's what I'm trying to hint at. Something, Coach. Give me a gift or something,
He wants
man.
that
He
When
blessed
is
me with
December?
one.
What day does December fall on?
The 10th,
What date does it fall on?
Saturday.
Oh, well, what we want to do, we I don't know what's going on. We may not do a show after the Christmas.
Okay.
We may not do a show then, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it
Okay.
for everybody that's out there that's tuned in. We thank you and appreciate you. We always love the support. We would love to have even more support because without you guys, it wouldn't even be no point of us doing this. But be sure to hit the subscribe button right there at the bottom of this video to subscribe. So
Free 99.
Free 90. It ain't even free 99. It's just free. We ain't even gonna add no numbers to it. You know, it's just straight zeros. And you know, be able to hit that and get a notification every time we go live. You can come back, watch these videos, and share. I'm sure there are people out there that want to hear the topics and things that we're talking about. All right, so let's get ready to get up out of here. As always, you got to put it on Coach. As Coach, get ready to give him that farewell. Give him that farewell, Coach. All right, we out of here. We'll see you later.
Sammy Sosa.